It's over, guys. That's it. The end of what I think is the best TV show ever made. And it's all gone. And it's so sad. I wanted it to continue, though not the way it has in Season 8 and pretty much most of Season 7. They were terrible seasons, really. Season 8, way worse than 7. And 7, way, way, way worse than any of the other seasons at all. And it's sad that such an iconic TV show has just gone out on a whimper and pretty much left everybody unsatisfied. And it's all because of people that are incapable of doing their jobs properly. And that sucks. That really does suck. What I want to say is, in tribute to the brilliant writing of Game of Thrones, it was written so well and directed so well and cast so well that pretty much every episode that you watch, after only a few minutes, you were fooled into believing that it was real. You were kind of taken out of your surroundings and just immersed amazingly in the TV show. Everything they did was done with precision. Every single meeting that they had in every single episode was done with absolute precision. You had everybody who should have been there. Everybody who should have been there conducting themselves as they would have. You had the proper people in the proper jobs, looking like the proper people in the proper jobs. You would have everybody set out perfectly in the rooms. You'd have the king, the hand of the king next to him, the bodyguards, the gold cloaks. You would have everything set out absolutely perfect, so that there was no room for anybody to kind of look at it and go, hang on, that's not right, surely. It was all done with utter precision, and you couldn't fault it, to be honest, except for Ed fucking Sheeran. But anyway, let's get on with the finale. Teleporting. Yeah, we have teleporting is back in the final episode. What I mean by that is people getting to places they couldn't possibly have got to. All through Game of Thrones, if you wanted to get around the world of Westeros, it took a hell of a long time. For example, travelling from Winterfell to King's Landing would take a few weeks of Game of Thrones episodes to get there, to emphasise just how far it is. Obviously in Season 8 you can do it in an hour. And in the final episode we had a classic scene of Grey Worm slitting the throats of the Lannister prisoners. Jon Snow objects. He decides that he's going to go straight to the Queen and find out why she has given the order for Grey Worm to execute the prisoners. So he walks off to go and see the Queen. In the background you can see Grey Worm slashing the throats of all the prisoners, and so he's going to be kind of doing that for a while. And then it cuts away, and when it cuts back, Jon Snow's walking up to where the Queen is, and then it cuts away, and then it cuts back to Jon Snow walking to where the Queen is, and then Grey Worm just happens to be standing in front of him. It's like, how the fuck did you get there? How did you do that? I mean, what the fuck? It was just, I was like, hang on, that was the first thing that, and I wasn't looking for bad shit. It was just, I just thought, why did they do that? And then he goes in there and he kills Daenerys. Now, I kind of had a feeling that would happen. I thought it would be him or Tyrion that would do it, and it turned out to be him. I have no problem with that. That's fine. He kind of changed his tune a bit quick, you know. He was all for not doing it, and then Tyrion just said one sentence as he was leaving the room, and all right, I'll go and murder her. And it was just all done a bit brash like, but it still happened, and I didn't have much of a problem with it. What I did have a problem with was, why wasn't Jon Snow executed within 10 minutes of doing that? Because, let's be honest, the only people that were around in King's Landing were Tyrion, who was a prisoner, who also would have been executed immediately, and then you have the Dothraki and the Unsullied, which again, by the way, seem to have multiplied tenfold. I mean, what the hell? Where's she getting all these Unsullied from? What the So, what do you think would have happened when Jon Snow walked back to Grey Worm and says, oh, by the way, I've just murdered your queen. Bye. Have a good day. He'd have been murdered. The Dothraki would have tied him between two fucking horses and ripped him apart. There would have been nobody there to stop them either. It's absolutely hilarious that we are supposed to believe, as it cuts away and then cuts back, that Grey Worm locked Jon up and then telephoned everybody in Westeros. Hey, will you all come down here? My queen has been murdered by Jon Snow. I've put him in jail and I want you all to come down to decide who the next king or queen should be. Okay, see you in a jiffy. Bye-bye. What a load of shite. Speaking of loads of shite, how about Tyrion's awful acting when he was crying over Cersei and bloody Jaime? My goodness. He wasn't even crying. He was just like, it looked like they just grabbed someone. Quick, just cry. That was actually laugh out loud funny. It was quite funny, that. Going back to Dany getting murdered. What was Drogon doing? Drogon pulled a hissy fit. I mean, what the fuck? That was just. I'll tell you what was good. The bit where Jon Snow walked up to the building and Drogon was covered in snow and, well, ash and that, and he just kind of came up. That was awesome. I loved that bit. That was fantastic. That was very good idea and very well done, because I didn't see that coming at all. So I liked that bit. But anyway, let's get to the voting about who's going to be the next king. How about the actual fucking king? Well, what the fuck? I was sitting there thinking, well, Jon Snow is your king. And why didn't Jon Snow kill Dany and then go and tell everybody that he was the true king? Because he just would, you know. He would have said, I'm the true king and I can prove it. He could have done that. Why didn't Bran speak up at the vote and say the one true king is Jon? Because he is a Targaryen. He is... And do you know something else? This has been built up, right, since, I think, the very first season of Game of Thrones. One of the big stories in Game of Thrones all the time is who is the true heir to the throne of the Seven Kingdoms, because we knew it wasn't the incest-ridden Lannisters, because they were false, because Robert Baratheon was on the throne. He wasn't the father of Joffrey. So at the end of the day, it was like this whole other story's going that Bran uncovered by going back in time, if you remember, and he saw Ned killing the guys outside and then running up the tower, and that's when he got Jon Snow. And he says, I'll protect him, but it wasn't his son. He was a Targaryen, the true heir to the throne. Why wasn't that mentioned at the meeting? It's ridiculous. But anyway, there was a water bottle in the scene as well. Yeah, we had a Starbucks cup the other week. Now we have a water bottle next to the foot of somebody in, I think it's Sam. My goodness. Do they not have a continuity manager? I mean, they have one fucking job, continuity managers. That's it. And they couldn't even fucking do it. It's scandalous, man. It's scandalous. The council meeting itself made no fucking sense. You had the worst people on that table. Who's the worst person ever to put as Master of Coin? The one person in the whole of Westeros you would never make Master of Coin is a thieving bastard who worships money more than anything. Bronn. He's a sellsword. He will stab anybody in the back for a gold coin. He has no morals, no standards. He worships money. I know, let's put him in charge of all the money in Westeros. And coming back to what I said earlier on about how Game of Thrones is all about precision and everything is done properly, you've got a council meeting. It almost looked like a bunch of children dressed up playing at having a council meeting. I'm going to be Master of Coin. I'm going to open all the bottles first. Who are you? Master of the Dialogue. Oh, God, it was cringingly bad. It was just awful. That would not be how it is. I mean, people wouldn't be going on like that. We've just had about 1 million innocent people burned alive in the fucking city. The whole country's in chaos after the Night Kings come down. There'll be starvation. There'll be food shortages. We're in the middle of fucking winter, for fuck's sake. And there's lots of important things need doing, not to mention all the homeless refugees that will be everywhere. We need to rebuild fast. We need people of action on the board. And what are they doing? Sitting there making fun of everything. It was just so fucked up. How are we supposed to believe that after watching fucking 8 years of precision TV? And now we get this fucking joke. I mean, fuck off. Remake it. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go west. I don't know why. I'm just gonna go fucking west. Could be worse. I could be going to a rebuilt wall where there's no threat at all.